Clean Air Asia. Yesterday was the formal launch of Clean Air Asia, and it's a symbol of yet another step in the evolution of our very effective partnership. As one of the founding partners, together with the US Asian Environmental Initiative and the World Bank, we're delighted of the progress over the last 10 years. It seems to us that it's come a long way since it started off as a regional technical assistance project within the ADB, and together we've worked to advance the agenda, particularly in 3 important areas. The first is in the area of air quality. The Clean Air Scorecard, which Sophie used in her talk, was actually developed for the ADB and is now in much wider use thanks to the Clean Air Asia. Also, we help fund an assessment of health, medical and insurance costs from transport source pollution, and help to put together an air pollution health index that was launched in 2010 at BAQ. And also now we're working together with Clean Air Asia to look at a project to advance the quality of air quality monitoring in Asia, and the results were presented at a pre-event yesterday. It's going extremely well. My colleague Vijay Joshi is here and is working together with Clean Air Asia in this area. The second major area, and one where large changes have taken place, is in the area of sustainable urban transport. Clean Air Asia was the core of the Sustainable Urban Mobility in Asia project, and that had a large influence on the Asian Development Bank. Our transport policy changed dramatically, and it was this change culminated in our approval of the Sustainable Transport Initiative, whereby we want to focus on sustainable transport over the next 10 years, and we envisage 30 billion in investment in those areas. The TIMP tool for assessment of emissions for transport projects was also originally developed for ADB but is now in worldwide use. Another project in which we are very proud to be working with Clean Air Asia is a very local one for both Clean Air Asia and ADB. In their joint effort to improve, we are both together in Ortigas, and I think perhaps the occasional home-cooked technical assistance project is difficult for Clean Air Asia to pass up, and so we like to very much work together on this Ortigas project. It's also very important to me because I actually live in Ortigas, so my walk to work, which I do every day, is important and will hopefully improve as a result of this project. ADB is also very supportive of the Green Freight project, particularly in the GMS countries with the pilot there, and through the GMS Environmental Operations Centre office in Bangkok. We feel that this is an important new line of thinking and we really need to support it. It also supports very much our Green Cities Initiative, which I'll talk about in a minute. The third major area is one which is closest to my heart as the head of urban development at the ADB, and that's the low emissions in urban development stream, driven by this Green Cities Initiative, which focuses on making Asian cities truly sustainable. We wanted to work with Clean Air Asia to develop a tool to model land use transport synergies in an effort to cut greenhouse gases and pollution in our cities. Now, everybody talks about this, but it really doesn't get done, mainly because it takes significant political capital to make these kind of integrated approaches work. mayors will not do it if they don't understand what are the practical things they need to do to improve this pollution and greenhouse gases emissions in their cities. And they have no way of communicating the benefits to their citizens. And the race tool, which will be talked about tomorrow in the conference, does both of those things. Clean Air Asia has also been the midwife in the creation of a new initiative, the Cities Development Initiative for Asia. 5 years ago, Clean Air Asia gave vital support to the establishment of CDIA as a non-stop non-profit. And Sophie and her team gave willing and generous support, for which I am very grateful, of their documentation and their time. CDIA has reciprocated, though it's one of the sponsors here now, for Clean Air Asia, and it has also learned from Clean Air Asia, particularly in relationship to working with national partner organisations, one of the core strategies for Cities Development Initiatives, expansion into Asian cities. An NGO like Clean Air Asia is very useful to the ADB, providing information on the state of play and benchmarks against which we can develop and judge our projects. It gives us a better idea of the reality on the ground. This is particularly important in the light of our recently approved Urban Operational Plan. Core to this plan is our Green Cities Initiative. Clean Air Asia's 4 new areas of focus on climate change, low emissions urbanisation, green fuels and vehicles, and green freight and logistics are directly in line with this agenda. And so we hope to continue working with Clean Air Asia closely in the future. We particularly see Clean Air Asia's role in developing tools for monitoring and benchmarking our progress in our Green Cities Initiative. In conclusion, I'd like to wish participants, as is traditional at Better Air Quality, a busy, relaxed and fruitful conference, and I'd like to thank you very much for your support.